Hey, thank you for joining us on Spark News, your veterinary news, your veterinary life. I am here with the incredible Rob Thomas.
Sorry.
And Sue Ettinger, Dr. Sue Ettinger. But Rob, first, before we get into Sue, because that's a whole nother world there completely. I was just watching your warm up and your sound check, and holy dude, you are talented.
That's very nice of you to say, man. Thank you.
No, I mean, so I'm seeing, I play, and I actually have my demo tape to give to you at the end.
Oh, nice. Yeah, good.
It's on an 8-track. but listen, I mean, just sitting there, warming up, going through different chord changes and you're going from piano to guitar, your voice is flawless. Incredible stuff. So I just wanted to thank you so much.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that.
But as big of a rock star as you are, there's actually someone here who is as big of a rock star.
Well, especially in this group.
In this group.
Yeah, like I can't walk down the street with her. Somebody's like, oh, who's that guy with Sue?
Absolutely. This is Dr. Sue Ettinger, otherwise known as Dr. Sue Cancer Vet. Is that correct? Did I get that right?
Perfect.
At Dr. Sue Cancer Vet.
At Dr. Sue Cancer Vet.
For all your social media channels.
Twits.
And you know, this whole thing, and having Rob Thomas, formerly of Matchbox 20, and Rob Thomas, international fame, tons of hits, we actually came through you because you guys actually have a connection, and that connection is she treats your pets.
Well, she does. I mean, well, we actually were friends before
Yeah.
she treated. We were friends with her husband Carrie, who's also a genius doctor. He helped us out with our boy Tyler, who had passed away.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And we became friends. And then it's an unfortunate thing that when you need an oncologist, but it's a good thing to know that you have somebody so capable when you're there. And so when we went in for a regular eye exam for Ollie, our dog, we thought he was a dachshund mix, but it's apparently
He's a super mutt.
Yeah, apparently he's a
Well, he's
super
a star
mutt.
now, though.
He's an
Literally, he's a star,
Instagram star.
yeah.
But we found a melanoma on his eyeball.
Okay.
And it's a rare thing in general, and then the fact that it wasn't benign was even more rare.
So 83% roughly are benign, and of course, lo and behold, Ollie's came back as a malignant melanoma.
Yeah.
And so, Dr. Sue, what was your initial treatment? And so how do you handle it? Is it just like every other type of pet parent who comes in? But this is Rob freaking Thomas, you know what I mean?
Well,
this is like the soundtrack of the 90s.
But to be fair, it's more about Ollie. Like, she loves Ollie so much that, like, when Ollie's there, she doesn't put him down.
No.
She just carries him around everywhere she goes.
And my team, they favor. But when you first brought him in, he was very protective of Rob.
Yeah.
And so he actually kind of barked at me. And now we knew that I was in with Ollie because now if he's on my lap and someone approaches me or just even walks by, he's very protective of me. So that's when we knew.
Well, I bark at you too when you come in a room.
Oh,
Is
that's true.
is
It's
normal?
true. Yeah.
So
The first thing we did, though, I mean, I think it was key, was we immediately removed the eye. And they were asking you and it seems like a drastic move to make, but I think it really has bought us the time that we've had, because immediately you want to try and separate the fact that it's on the eye, and hasn't already eaten up inside of the eyelid, to get that out of there as soon as possible. I think that was really the best thing that we could have done.
Yeah, and a lot of owners hesitate, and you guys didn't. I mean, we got the eye out right away, and within 2 weeks, you guys were seeing me at my practice, and we were starting the melanoma vaccine, and then we're treating him quite aggressively. So he did traditional chemotherapy, the melanoma vaccine, which is the immunotherapy, and a lot of people always get confused because they think the vaccine is to prevent something like rabies or distemper, but there's this really great melanoma vaccine that you use to stimulate the immune system. So we did the vaccine, injectable chemotherapy, and then now he's been on low-dose oral metronomic chemotherapy.
We also waved feathers over him.
Yeah,
Indian
dance, and
he's doing great. And what was really weird about it too was I was on the road at the time. I was out. I think it was a solo tour. I was out with Counting Crows.
Yeah.
But all these things that kind of played in so luckily. I was at home. I was basing out of home for a 2-week period where I would just play in Jersey and go home at night and play at Jones Beach and come home at night. So I was home, which was an amazing thing. But I wasn't home when he had the surgery. Marty had to go in and my wife Marty had to go in and do it alone. And I'm I'm sitting there, on the phone on the bus, just following every move. And it was a weird thing, to come home that night and know what I was getting ready to walk into, and to see him come in with the cone and he's got no eye. And it was kind of heartbreaking. And I was in the middle of reading Lily and the Octopus at the time, which is a wonderful book about the dog who winds up with this tumor on his eye, on her eye, and it becomes this octopus to the owner. So it was almost eerily kind of in the same spot that I was in. Needless to say, I just spent 2 days just crying uncontrollably all the time.
Yeah. Dr. Sue, what type of advancements are we making in the cancer treatment of pets? You see things drastically different in the last 10 years, or?
I mean, I think the really exciting part about oncology right now is the new medications that are coming on board, is that we actually have veterinary products that were designed for veterinarians. So many of the chemotherapy drugs, like carboplatin, which Ollie received as part of his therapy, is a human drug that we've learned and adapted to our veterinary patients, and so they can tolerate it really well. But now, like, the immunotherapy is for dogs, and that was actually, developed when I was doing my residency, and that's now a commercially available product. And we have new lymphoma products, new chemotherapy. So we have Tenovia out there. And then we also have better medications to make sure that their side effects are minimal. And, the thing is, most people think their pets are going to get really sick. I mean, Ollie, soared through. 80% of dogs have no side effects, and Ollie had literally no side effects.
That's awesome.
At all.
That's awesome.
The one time he had side effects when he was between treatments and you guys were on the road.
Yep.
And I was like, I pretty much thought that he had just picked up something, off the streets because he got sick. But
Sue actually came out to Denver. At Red Rocks to do the treatment on him while we were on the road, so that so we wouldn't miss any treatments.
So when he walks into the clinic, does everyone start screaming, or does everyone avert their eyes and?
Nobody knows.
Everybody.
Listen,
no, not for you, for Ollie.
Yeah, I think either one. I think everybody is on a very, very equal playing field. People or veterinarians.
Especially when
you walk into any kind of an oncology office, it's I think
there are no celebrities at that point.
You let me post a picture of Ollie. Nothing is without permission, and I didn't even say who he was. And people. Rob's fans knew that was his dog, because you must have posted something on your site, but they knew that was Rob Thomas's dog, and I have a lot of people that follow me for updates on Ollie, which is pretty funny.
Well, so we have two dogs. We have Sammy and Ollie. Now, Sammy also is blind in his right eye. He had a rupture on the inside of his eyelid, ruptured, and we took him to Toronto for the only veterinary surgeon who does that kind of work. We flew him to Toronto to get this eye taken care of. Sammy also has epilepsy. He's on Keppra, on human Keppra.
Yeah.
He has epilepsy. They both have heart problems. They both have gum disease. They both these dogs would not be around, I think, if they had any other parents.
But how important are they to you?
It's everything. I mean, it's everything in our life, And we when we lost Tyler, we lost him to hemangiosarcoma, and it's.
Was it a golden?
No, he was a kind of a petite Basset, I think, Griffin Von Dien mix.
Yeah.
And he was our whole world, I think. I think one of the things, when you hear about these advancements and you're hoping that these things become more mainstream, because one of the things too is it's a sad thing for people that can't afford the kind of care that sometimes you're going to need. I think we tallied up almost $100,000 last year that we wound up spending on the two dogs. We're lucky to be able to do that, and we would have put up our house if we had to do it. But people shouldn't have to do that.
Yeah.
And I think that the more that these things become mainstream, I think the easier they're going to be able for regular people just to be able to afford the treatment that it takes.
Yeah, and it's not just
Incredible.
cancer. I mean, surgery and things like that, it's really can be very cost prohibitive. And I know that you guys are very interested in helping more dogs and cats. And
we do. We have Sidewalk Angels Foundation.
I was going to ask you about Sidewalk Angels. Tell us about that and what that means to you.
Well, my wife Monty started it, I think, about 13 or so years ago. We're just working to help grassroots organizations all over the country. Kind of, if you get your LLC and you've got a mission statement and you've got a strong heart and you want to do something, but you can't get the funds together to kind of get up the ground. I think we've helped over 20-something shelters, actually build physical shelters and build runs and get things they need, trying to help people. We've just kind of changed around the way that our corporation's set up so that we can help other people that are having these problems and try and help them personally just to be able to get through. And because we hear these stories, there's people that would do anything in the world and they just physically can't do it, and you want to try and make sure that doesn't happen.
People who want to support this effort, how do they get?
You just go to sidewalkangelsfoundation.org.
Excellent.
And check it all out. And also, I think because we're very low, we have very low overhead. Everything goes straight to the organizations that we want to help. And you can go on to Sidewalk Angels Foundation and see the organizations that we've helped and see kind of how they've grown and things that have happened. And maybe you'll find something in your community that's local that you can go support there, because that's just as good as going through us, just, as long as the work gets done.
That's great stuff. I'm going to turn the conversation a little bit because it's very important to us. You're an Orlando guy. So
originally, yeah. I mean, I don't think anybody's actually from
Orlando.
No,
but hey, we claim what we can take.
I was originally from South Carolina.
Okay.
And I moved here probably in middle school, but I went to high school. I went to Milwee Middle School for a while, and then I went to Lake Brantley High School.
Brantley, okay.
Yeah, I was a Patriot. And in fact, I just did a radio interview with my buddy Jay, who I went to high school with, who's now a DJ here in town.
Okay.
That's awesome.
And his son's now 14 playing for the Patriots as well.
Yeah.
And the band started here, which I think more importantly than anything is this is kind of where
this is where it began.
Yeah, this is where we were a local band playing at the Sapphire Supper Club in Barbarella, and and the Firestone, and like any of those the places that used to have live music around here.
And you know who's opening for you tonight?
Who?
Halcyon.
Are you kidding me?
Cannot wait to see you again.
Oh!
Halcyon is going
That
to
is
be
awesome.
the intro walk-in band, getting things kind of geared up and high energy for you.
That is amazing.
Just real quick, tell, because everyone's like, who the hell
Well,
is
Halcyon we used to play with all the time. Like, we used to do these gigs over at like Skipper Smokehouse in Tampa. I mean, it was a very, very tight-knit kind of music community here back in the early '90s. There was all these bands like Spider Monkey and Big White Undies. And my friend Steve.
My friend Steve, I actually know. I knew him very well.
Yeah,
Worked with his wife very well.
Kim.
Yes, Kim. You know Kim?
Well, of course I do.
Oh my
Steve
God,
is
I used
Steve
to
is
work with Kim.
Steve is still a really very good friend of ours, and every time we come into Pittsburgh, he comes out to the show and just hangs with us all day.
Sure, good guy, good family. They're actually
such a
moved
great
from here up
songwriter.
north.
Yeah, they moved out to Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
They literally just like started figuring out where they wanted to go, and we're like, Pittsburgh.
Yep.
Like,
Yep. She worked for an advertising
yeah.
agency there.
And they changed their last name because she was Kim Fox and he was Steve Burry, so they
remember
changed
that.
their name to Foxbury.
Love it.
They're Kim and
Brilliant.
Steve Foxbury.
Bro, he's a talented guy. When
An
I was
unbelievable
actually, not that
songwriter.
anyone cares about this. When I was at the running VP of marketing at YMCA, he wrote a custom song for us to launch our summer programs. It was just a cool experience to deal with all that.
No smoke. He is one of the people that I cite for why I started to want to write personal songs and like to kind of understand, like, because I think when you're starting off, you're like 14, you're an awkward kid, and you're just writing songs to meet girls.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because
Right.
it's the only thing you have in your arsenal, right?
How's it working for you, Tom?
And then like,
Not well.
but they're not very good songs, And then I would go see Steve Burry, and he was just. These songs were just so poetic,
Yeah.
and you really started to realize that there was a tool that you could use to kind of for catharsis.
Yeah, yeah.
And it was a cathartic thing for you to be able to do. And so I always have cited him as, I think, one of my biggest influences ever.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
What a small world here.
Isn't it?
Well, I know we got to wrap up. You're an incredible rock star, but you're an incredible person. I've heard so many amazing things about you. You embody the human-animal bond, which is so important to all of us here and certainly to Dr. Sue. Before I let you go, we have to do something that's very important on a 4 count, okay? We're going to get into, I'm not crazy, I'm just a little unwell right now.
No, later. We're gone.
Can I
We
step
want
off?
to see if she can harmonize.
No.
No. Can't do it?
Who was it? We're like Sting and Shaggy?
Yeah, we were doing the live video for the conference.
She's Shaggy.
She's Shaggy.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're Shaggy. Sorry.
I'll take it.
Ladies and gentlemen,
we love you,
please
Shaggy.
thank you for joining us on Spark, the
thank you,
incredible
brother.
Dr. Sue Enninger,
Thank you
and the
very much for
amazing Rob Thomas.
Thanks, brother. It's good to see
Thank
you.
you, sir.
Thanks.
Awesome seeing you. As
Thank
always,
you.
a pleasure to see you.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us here on Spark, your veterinary news, your veterinary life.